He is one of the last names, really, from when movie stars were movie stars. Man, if you are of a certain age, Robert Redford movies have made an impact on you to at least some degree. For certain guys who stood apart and will always be Roy Hobbs. The thing about Redford is he made so many great movies. It's a little bit less sad sometimes when we lose somebody that we know lived a lifetime that we would be envious of. We will begin today with some sad news. Hollywood loses a legend. The great Robert Redford has passed at age 89. And man, if you are of a certain age, Robert Redford movies have made an impact on you to at least some degree. He is one of the last names, really, from when movie stars were movie stars. They're making more movies than ever today, it seems. And a lot of them go straight to streaming and going to the movies. While, yeah, people still go to the movies, it is not the event that it used to be in our society. And people don't anticipate movies the way that they used to when people of my generation were kids. And back in those days, in the 1960s, the 1970s, the 1980s, into the 90s, I mean, the guy had a career that cut across different generations, really. Robert Redford was one of those names. A very short list. Clint Eastwood, Paul Newman, Steve McQueen, Robert Redford. There were certain guys who stood apart, and for me, of course, Robert Redford will always be Roy Hobbs, who kind of got sidetracked after being shot by a deranged Barbara Hershey because he made the mistake of striking out the whammer while the train was stopped. And The Natural is a movie that I've seen, my God, probably at least 20 times through the years, maybe more than that. It came out in 1984, so I've had plenty of years to watch it, and I consider it to be conservatively one of the top 5 baseball movies of all time, and I'm not sure sometimes that it's not near my favorite. A great performance, even though in that movie do the math, it came out in 1984, he just passed at 89. He was a 48-year-old teenager striking out Joe Don Baker in that movie, and I've had a lot of fun with that he was old even for the character that he was portraying when Roy Hobbs came back, but one of the most defining performances of his career. A lot of people might say Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, The Sting, of course the movies that he made with Paul Newman. Those are the ones that your mom probably really loved. Because I can certainly tell you, if it was any indication in Horse Cave, Kentucky, Nancy Dean Cobb was a big fan of the Newman Redford movies. I also liked All the President's Men, was a good one. Brubaker is underrated, where he's in prison. But the thing about Redford is he made so many great movies. You might get 5 people together and they might all give you an entirely different looking list. His career is that extensive. Indecent Proposal, underrated. I'll give you $1 million to sleep with your wife. And Woody Harrelson had a decision to make. But for me, it was The Natural. And so many little things in that movie that I've tweeted about. I thought this might be a nice occasion to tip my cap to Robert Redford by looking at some of the moments from that movie that I have found delight in reflecting upon and tweeting out from Super 70 Sports. One is this old guy, by the way. Can we get a look at this? Everybody remembers the scene where the train stops. Robert Redford, who's supposed to be a fucking teenager, again, 48 years old. He was basically the same age as Wilford Brimley in that movie. Pop Fisher and Robert Redford. One of you guys check on it for me. They were probably born not more than a year or two apart, but there's the great Robert Duvall. And the old guy in front of him, though, is where I would like for you to turn your eyes. Roy Hobbs is throwing 100 straight off of the train, just throwing pure high-octane gas, and That old motherfucker with a mitt that was made in the late 1800s is just catching it all. Like he's fucking Ivan Rodriguez back there behind the plate. Anyway, I just always got a kick out of the fact that the old man is just catching Hobbs. Nobody ever gave him credit for that, the old guy, but Roy Hobbs certainly got credit for carving his bat out of a tree that was downed by lightning. As I've tweeted about many times before, you know that you're a badass when you just carve your bat from a tree that had been downed by lightning. And of course, later in the movie, he breaks Wonder Boy at the most critical juncture. And Bobby, the Bat Boy, brought him the Savoy Special. And then he launched it into the stadium lights, home run. The New York Knights win the pennant. I've also had fun before with Wilford Brimley when I tweet about the natural. And what would it be without a diabetes joke to be made here? But Wilford Brimley, the amazing thing is I'm pretty sure Wilford Brimley was not even 50 years old when this movie came out. And again, Jared, fact check me on this, but if he was over 50, he was at least 4 years probably younger than I am now. And he was already settling into how he was going to look for the last 35 plus years of his life. And Pop Fisher, by the way, a little slow to get Roy Hobbs in the lineup, don't we think? This motherfucker shows up out of nowhere, starts hitting 27 home runs in a row during batting practice. Pop Fisher just leaves him on the bench. Won't even let the motherfucker make a pinch hitting appearance. They might not have had to be in that crucial game late in the season if Pop Fisher had played the guy that was hitting nothing but home runs. How's that for a thought there? But Redford certainly had a great career. I was a little surprised to learn he never earned a Best Acting Oscar. Not for Best Actor, not for Best Supporting Actor. He had a nomination for The Sting, I believe, among others. He did win Best Director in 1980 for Ordinary People, which stars, Mary Tyler Moore, and I can't forget, who else was in this? Is it Judd Hirsch? I can't remember who the male lead was in that, but it was a depressing kind of movie. But I'm a little depressed today, to be honest with you. 89 is a good run. It's a little bit less sad sometimes when we lose somebody that we know lived a lifetime that we would be envious of, not just in terms of the life that they lived, but the ripe old age that they lived to. So shout out and super sky point to the great Roy Hobbs, Robert Redford, who we have lost. Let's turn our attention to sports, which is what we like to do on this program a good chunk of the time. And another thing that we've talked about on this show, a surprising amount of time since Caitlin Clark entered the league, is the WNBA, and a player that certainly caught our eyes, and not just our eyes, but the eyes of everybody who is aware of what's going on in the WNBA, is Paige Bueckers, who was the near unanimous Rookie of the Year for the 2025 season in the WNBA, and she joins a very select group. Get this. WNBA players who won an NCAA championship, were selected number 1 overall, and were Rookie of the Year all in the same year. Surprisingly, I'm surprised there are this many, but it's still a very exclusive club. There are only 5 who have ever done it. They are Brianna Stewart, fellow Husky, Candace Parker, Diana Taurasi, another fellow Husky, Tina Charles, and now Paige Bueckers joins that list. The only ones to win an NCAA championship, go 1 overall, and then claim the Rookie of the Year award in the WNBA. She was very, very efficient this year. And the competition in the WNBA continues to heat up, but I don't know if it is as hot as what this gentleman ran into when he went on Card Sharks years ago. This is the game show episode, folks. Look at that. He thought he had seen some combat in his day. He'd done several tours of duty. And then he ran into this feisty 3-foot-tall grandma on Card Sharks. Card Sharks is actually one of my favorite game shows. And now that we're into the game show portion of the show, let me welcome to the program, officially, the international streaming star who joins me from Nashville, Tennessee. He is, of course, Ronnie T-Shirts. And Ronnie, we got some things to cover here. Let's recap on Robert Redford and Paige Bueckers real quickly before we move forward. Was Redford a guy who meant anything to you? Were you a fan?
He was the guy that if you would have asked me in the 80s or the 90s to name a Hollywood movie star, male movie star, that's the first name that I probably would have said. So yeah, like you mentioned, obviously The Natural. I mean, that goes without saying. I mean, every social media post I see today, whether it's on Facebook or X, it's people, and they're not even saying Robert Redford. They're saying, Roy Hobbs. So you mentioned Brubaker. Yep, like Brubaker. Indecent Proposal, another movie I enjoyed. When you were doing that, I was looking through all the movies he's been in, and I didn't realize he was in that many movies. So, but yeah, he'd be the guy that in the 80s or 90s, I would have said, that's the movie star. That's the movie star.
Yeah, he's one of the archetypes of Hollywood leading man. It's a very short list, and you're going to check off Robert Redford somewhere very early on in that. I remember years ago, I went to Convenient to rent some movies, and I rented Indecent Proposal. I was probably hoping that Demi Moore's titties would be in it or something. It's probably like a late night move on my part, pre-internet. I don't know. I had some snacks, or maybe I was just fascinated with the concept of buying someone else's wife for sexual favors. I don't know, Ron, but I'll never forget the guy behind the counter. He looked at the box and he said, "Indecent Proposal," as he was processing my transaction. And I happen to know that guy went to my high school, Ron. So
Aaron Jaquilin.
Go Colonels. Yeah, there was a little bit. Indecent Proposal. You'd hate to see an Indecent Proposal be made. Hey, Ron, Paige Bueckers, I guess there's no surprise there. I was asking the question earlier this year, is she potentially a more impactful player than Caitlin Clark? I don't think it's a ridiculous question. She's not going to blow your skirt up or your wig off like Caitlin Clark will with some of wait a minute, did she really just do that? But basketball's about more than just those viral moments. And Paige Bueckers seems to do all of the little stuff very, very efficiently.
She does. We will find out next year if Caitlin remains healthy. But I said it on the show a while ago. I think the WNBA has done one of two things. They have either figured her out or they play extra hard against her than they do other players. Either one is going to it's going to make it harder for Caitlin. And that's why I think Paige could be the one.
Well, I've been on the record that I think Caitlin is going to win at least one MVP in her career. And I'm not going to take the crown off of the queen until we see her back next year, hopefully healthy and functioning at 100%. But she'll really have something to prove in year 3. If we thought that there was anything she wanted to prove this season, it's going to be nothing compared to what she has to prove coming back from what has essentially been a lost season, Ronnie. I want to mention also this weekend, we had a record set. The Terrence Crawford Canelo Alvarez fight, 41 million viewers on Netflix is the number that we are getting, Ron. And to put that into context, the most viewed men's championship fight of this century prior to this was Floyd Mayweather-Manny Pacquiao in 2015, which had 4.6 million pay-per-view buys in the United States. They estimate worldwide maybe somewhere in the range of 11 to 13 million. So this was 3 or 4 times as many viewers as the previous most watched championship bout.
But we are comparing,
of the
we're
2000s.
comparing apples to bricks. We're not even comparing apples to oranges.
Well, we're comparing the past to the future.
Yeah,
a future where hopefully a lot more people get to see this shit and they don't have to pay $100 to do it.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, what are the numbers that came in for the NFL game that was, what was it, last Christmas? I mean, it was insane, right? It was like 130 million people, something like that. So Netflix, these streaming services,
pay-per-views moving to Paramount Plus. I think
it's
it is
changing.
Ron.
It's going to change the numbers. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole model is changing, and now some of us cheap motherfuckers can see high-profile fights now. So I'm excited about that. Ron, I started us off with Card Sharks on Game Show Day here, and I'm going to begin by saying, take a look at this sweet bastard, Ron. I only included Price is Right. You're damn right that I want to see this clumsy yodeling bastard. And I'm rooting for him to fall. I don't want to be a hater, but the satisfaction was in watching him yodel-a-hee, yodel-a-hee, yodel-a-hee-hoo, yodel-a-hee-hoo, and up and up and up he would go. And eventually he would plummet from the mountaintop if people weren't good enough at guessing prices, Ron. But it's one of my favorite Price is Right games.
So, when I discovered that we were doing this theme, the first thing I thought, Ricky, and you let me down, I thought for sure you were going to have a skinny microphone. I mean, that would have been perfect for today.
Well, if only I'd had the presence of mind to request one. Where do you get those?
Skinnymicrophones.com.
Like car antennas. Yeah, where did Gene Rayburn and Bob Barker go for these? But hey, look, man, you go back into my era and you start thinking about great game shows. It's not going to be very long before you get to this man, the unquestioned GOAT of being the host of Family Feud, the late great Richard Dawson. And the best part is he was hammered, man.
Hammered and horny.
There's no doubt he was hammered and horny. That's right. I believe I saw that band of yours. God, what was it? Back in the late 90s at Lollapalooza. You guys were terrible. But yeah, 100% committed. Yeah. I mean, it was really, really good shit. And it was loose and they were having fun. He was ready to kiss everybody.
He did full mouth kiss, didn't he? He
would do full on mouth kisses.
Yeah.
Name something you do while cleaning your car. 100 people surveyed, top 5 answers on the board. Here's the question. Name something Ron does in the privacy of his own room.
Eat a whole bag of Doritos.
Masturbate furiously with his tiny penis.
Nope. Eat a whole bag of Doritos.
Show me masturbate furiously with his tiny penis. Ping, number 1 answer on the board. 63 people said that, and now the Johnson family is in control.
Johnson, did you do that on purpose?
I loved it.
Johnson.
I did do that on purpose. I always loved when they would have the celebrity teams. The families were fun enough, but when they would get people from TV shows and have things like that, like right here, I mean, what other show in the 70s was going to give you Batman and the Skipper squaring off while Richard Dawson wears a fucking tuxedo? You're goddamn right you should be wearing a tuxedo when Alan Hale Jr. and motherfucking
Adam West.
Bruce West.
Adam
West. Sorry.
Adam West.
Couldn't think of his fucking
Bruce
name.
West.
Bruce West. Yeah, Adam fucking West. He was later on he was on Family Guy.
Yeah,
as well.
He was mayor. He was the mayor.
Recurring character. He was the fucking mayor of Quahog there.
Yep.
Adam West. Yeah. And Ron, I don't know. To me, this is borderline a game show, but I'll consider it a game show. And I know you remember this one. You would have probably dominated if you had gone on this show back in the 1980s, Ron. But Love Connection with Chuck Woolery. Lot of bad hairdos.
2-2.
2-2. 2-2. We'll be back in 2-2. And I don't think that was even true, actually. I think that's just a cool thing that he came up with to say. But I kind of miss Love Connection a little bit.
I miss the Newlywed
painfully
Game.
Awkward.
I miss the Newlywed Game.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I enjoyed that one as well back in
the
day.
butt, Bob.
Bob
In the butt.
Eubanks. In the butt, Bob. In the butt, Bob. Here's another one for you, Ron. How about Richard Dawson, who brought it strong on another game show that I honestly liked even better than Family Feud, which is Match Game. And as I've tweeted before, I would love to see the toxicology reports on any given episode of Match Game. It would put Motley Crue to shame. I believe you. I mean, I believe me. Maybe we need to do a toxicology.
I was going to say, you okay?
Rod? Well, I'm straining. I'm trying to read this fucking return. I don't have my laptop for the second day in a row. So I'm flying, I'm just, I'm disoriented, Ron. That's what's going on. Straining to read.
I used the Match Game. The Match Game was kind of my, it was my marker for a new year. And as a kid, it always excited me because it would change from Match Game 73.
Yeah.
To Match Game 74. Yeah. And I always thought kind of like,
maybe we should do that.
An odometer, when an odometer rolls Ron? Over, like, yeah, that's great. Let's do it.
Maybe we should do this.
But I'd be so excited. Like, made it through another year. It's Match Game 75. Yeah. Made it through another year. Match Game
Cobb
75.
Show 25.
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
Let's do it.
Yeah. I don't know. All right. Well, speaking of things that we should do, Ron, we like to have fun doing it our way, and we're going to do it right now, Ron, because it's time for America's Poll of the Day, and let's go do it now at Super 70 Sports on X, where the eagle flies high. Not quite as high as Brett Summers and Charles Nelson Riley were in that previous photo, though, however. The eagle doesn't get that high. That's an altitude that few have ever achieved, my friend. And Ronnie, here are the options before us on this Tuesday. Something's got to advance to Championship Friday. Peanut butter and jelly is already waiting, and it's looking pretty cocky after getting somewhere around 54% of the vote yesterday. Here's what we've got today, Ron. We'll start with Johnny Carson, who I still consider to be the greatest in the history of late night television. But he's up against the continent today, Ron. Crikey. Australia is jonesing for a showdown, so there's a contender. Third, we've got Mountain Dew, and that is the beverage, not the song, although Johnny Cash and Bob Dylan do one hell of a duet on that. And then finally, the sports entrant today, the Bad Boys Pistons of the late 80s, early 90s era. Ron, break it down for me as only you can.
Johnny Carson. I mean, how can you not love Johnny Carson? Especially because he wasn't political. He didn't take one side or the other. He was just funny. He was just a funny guy. So definitely like Johnny Carson. Australia, I mean, it's the continent that gave us the bloomin' onion. So, I mean, it can't be all that bad. I'm fairly certain I'll never go to Australia. I don't have any desire. And on top of that, man, I ain't getting on a plane for 38 hours or whatever it would take to get there. Mountain Dew, if I can put in Diet Mountain Dew or Mountain Dew Zero, I mean, I've kept that company in business for the last 30 years. Straight up bitches for the last one. You know what I'm saying?
That's what Horace Grant believes.
Yep.
I'll tell you that.
I'm going to go Mountain Dew.
All right, well, let's bring in producer Tim and get his 2 cents on this. Tim, you have heard Ronnie's analysis. How do you stack them today?
Do. Ron, I'm surprised at what a traveling man you are. You don't want to go to Australia. Come on, man.
No desire.
You could join me. Bucket list, Australian Open.
Nope. It's just it's America. It's like 25 years behind America is what everybody says. No interest.
Interesting.
Well, that actually sounds pretty fucking good about right now. Ron. I'm going to be honest with you.
Boom.
You are the international.
You told me it was
mystery,
30.
Ron.
You told me it was 35 years behind America. I'd fucking move there.
Good beer there, Ron.
Jesus,
I
that's
was
the best tourism.
Yeah.
You big Foster's
advertisement ever.
Lager fan?
No, I don't want to sweat on what just happened. You're right. Let's go back 25 years. 25 years. Where are you today? 2000. I'm barely wearing underwear at that point.
Wow. Well,
I just graduated college. How about you guys?
What are you talking about?
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But yes, I was living on my own. Listen, when I saw Johnny, I kept thinking Cash. I'm here in the office. I wanted it to be Johnny Cash. I know we're doing game show. Ricky kind of stacked the deck here. Bad Boys Pistons. I like Rodman. Lambier, you have had an amazing campaign against Bill Lambier, Ricky. So good for you there. How you've tipped the scales of justice. There's only one Mountain Dew though. It's got to be the green one. So I'm gonna go there. None of this pink and blue and all this other shit that's out there.
Code Red is delicious. Some cherry in there.
I don't know about all that.
What do you got, Junior Seau?
I don't know about all that, Ron. All right, bro. Johnny Carson, there's not going to be much of a secret here. I'm going to vote for Johnny Carson. We can dispense with any drama there. He was a pretty big influence on me, actually. Carson and Letterman, as much as anybody, formed my sense of humor in those early days. So
I did not know that.
All respect. All respect to Johnny Carson. He inspired Chris Myers, our friend Chris Myers.
I'm the Ed McMahon to your
Australia.
Johnny Carson.
You are, Ron.
You are. That makes Tim Doc Severinson, I suppose.
We're gonna get you some big glasses.
Australia is, I like Australia. I don't know that I would want to go to the time or the expense or the trouble of going there. I'm kind of with you on that. The Wiggles also scarred me. My first daughter, my oldest, who, Bailey, you know her. When she was little, man, everything was the Wiggles. So I listened.
Luckily, Tyler's too old.
Chugga.
Yeah, Tyler's too old. But I never had to deal with it.
Captain Feathersword fell asleep on his pirate ship and woke up on a farm. And I knew that I had a problem when I was driving to work at the college one day. I was about 20 minutes from home, and I realized that I was driving along by myself, playing the Wiggles and singing along. And I was like, oh my God, this cannot be good. And then from that moment on, I started playing the Beatles.
Especially because you weren't high. I'm sure you weren't high at that point. So
she probably was.
No,
Paul
not after drop
with
off.
me about 5 times.
We could fire it here.
Guys from 1993 to 2017, I smoked like one joint in that period of time.
How many bong hits? So
I was a very stable, respectable, suit-wearing college professor before I
patches on your tweed jacket
a little better. I didn't go quite that far. But,
you don't say. Okay.
Mountain Dew, by the way, Mountain Dew Zero is the shit. And of course I'm not a Pistons fan. I have a heart. All right, there we go, Johnny Carson. And look, I suppose that I could have put a little more effort into finding Johnny suitable opponents, but Johnny Carson is going to coast here today. Nothing else even making it to 20% in Australia. Throw another shrimp on the Barbie. Yeah, throw another shrimp on the Mendoza line. See if they can get there or not. Well, fellas, we're going to take a break right now. We're going to be joined by one of our most valued panelists here on the program. And, speaking of great panels, sometimes it's less about the game and it's more about who the contestants are. Take a look at this right here. I present to you on our way to break the greatest Wheel of Fortune set of contestants ever. You know that it's a good day when you flip by and Weird Al, James Brown, and Little Richard are trying to buy vowels, Ronnie. Maybe I'll buy a vowel while we're in this break. But look at that. A lot of cocaine being used there. And I'm speaking only of James Brown. But I don't know. Maybe Sajak, he needs to loosen up a little bit. I don't know. Guy has the easiest fucking job in the world. Always seemed like he was a little perturbed easily. I think as he did the job longer, his mood got worse, Ron. But my mood's going to get worse right now if we don't get into this break. So let's get into it now. And when we come back, I'll be joined by Outkick senior NFL writer, the great Armando Salguero, right after this, right here on the Ricky Cobb Show.
Football's finally back. So's the hard-hitting gridiron action on Prize Picks. Download Prize Picks and use code OUTKICK and get $50 instantly in lineups when you play $5. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
And welcome back to the program, my friends, here on this Tuesday. And it is now my pleasure, with 2 weeks of the NFL season now in the books, to welcome to the show one of our favorite guests. He is Outkick senior NFL writer, the great Armando Salguero joins the program. Armando, how's it going?
Wow, Ricky, look at you rocking the Junior Seau jersey, bro. That's much respect to you. You know, Junior Seau used to call me Alex.
Thank you.
After a while, I started calling myself Alex, because if Junior Seau calls you Alex, damn it, your name is Alex.
Do you want me to call you Alex today? Just so it's like old times again?
Well, the difference is Junior Seau calling me Alex and you in a Junior Seau jersey calling me Alex. Not quite the intimidation factor that equals one another.
Not at all. Tim is in my ear saying why. I'm assuming that he was just confused. Why did he call you Alex, Armando?
Hey, did Armando ask 6'3", 255 pounds of chiseled muscle Junior Seau, why the hell are you calling me Alex after I've corrected you twice or 3 times? No, no, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, look, you tried. What are you going to do? You should have said, hey, look, are we going to have to step outside?
Yeah,
Junior?
That's exactly what I was
have
about
a name.
to do.
And it's Armando, sir.
No, it was Alex.
No, I think.
Damn it.
I think you probably handled it correctly, Armando. So here we are, 2 weeks in the books at this point, and what are the early storylines for you here coming out of the first 2 weeks? Either surprises or things that we know now, or that we may know a little better now that were questions going into the season.
Well, the start, and here's the tough part of it. There's a reason why quarterbacks make a lot of money, and the reason is they take a lot of punishment. And here we are in week 2, and Joe Burrow is already gone, and the national media is reporting that it's likely to be 3 months. I talked to Dr. David Chow, who's a longtime team physician for the San Diego Chargers, is an Outkick medical expert. And he said it's a 6-month process following that surgery for turf toe. And so he's gone for the year. So he's done. J.J. McCarthy has a high ankle sprain. He's not playing for a minute. Jaden Daniels, who is a stick, has been taking a lot of punishment, and his status for Sunday is up in the air. We've got a lot of quarterbacks that in only 2 weeks are already hurting. Josh Allen is bleeding through the nose because somebody, punched him basically, and now he's got to change his headgear. It's rough. So that number one, when the stars and the star quarterbacks start going down, that's not a good day for the NFL.
Well, one thing that it means, Armando, is that the bat signal is going out for Kirk Cousins, apparently, because we know anytime a decent team has a quarterback issue, that name is going to start getting bandied about. The Bengals right now, their guy is Jake Browning. Back in 2023, he went 4-3 as a starter. He completed 70% of his passes, had a quarterback rating of 98. Is Jake Browning a guy that they have enough confidence in that they're willing to go with him, or will the Bengals be looking out there to find somebody to come in and try to salvage this 2025 season?
Right. So, Jake Browning has the confidence of the Cincinnati Bengals. Is it warranted? We're going to soon find out. Personally, no. I don't. I'd be surprised if the Cincinnati Bengals make the playoffs now. So it's as simple as that. Remember, this is a team that last year failed to make the playoffs with Joe Burrow basically having an MVP season. I don't know why he didn't win the MVP award other than the fact that his team wasn't, anything above middling. But now you are going to replace that quarterback situation with Jake Browning when the Joe Burrow quarterback situation didn't make the playoffs, and you're going to tell me you're going to make the playoffs without Joe Burrow? No, I don't buy that for a second. The Bengals signed like 3 different practice squad quarterbacks today. Brett Rippon was one, Mike White was another, and some other guy whose name I don't remember is another. None of the guys that they have on their roster or practice squad are obviously Joe Burrow or Joe Burrow-like or Joe Burrow light. So next, you're done, Cincinnati Bengals, as far as I'm concerned. The idea that Kirk Cousins is the guy now around the NFL, the problem with that is, talent-wise, yeah, he'd be better, in my opinion, than Jake Browning, but it would cost. And, most teams don't want to pay for a draft pick for a Kirk Cousins and then hope that he somehow can get online with their offense and find chemistry with their players. And, oh, by the way, it's $27 million on the salary cap for the remainder of the year. So it's just a rough situation to just plug and play. They could do it in Minnesota, but they're not of the thought of doing that.
Armando, the Kansas City Chiefs are 0-2. Last year, they didn't lose their second game until week 18, and that was a game that they didn't even compete. Patrick Mahomes has never lost 3 straight regular season games. This is the first time in his career that he's lost 3 straight games, period, if we sort of fudge with the rules and go back to the Super Bowl. How concerning is this? We know that eventually all great dynasties come to an end. Is this just a blip early? They played a game in Brazil. They played the best team in the NFL. They'll pull it together and you don't have to worry about the Kansas City Chiefs? Or could this be indicative of maybe a few cracks starting to show in the foundation of the dynasty?
Well, I think it's pretty much in between. Speaking of cracks, right in between there, the two choices, because on the one hand, They don't have Rashee Rice. He is on suspension for a violation of the NFL personal conduct policy, and he's not coming back until October. On the other hand, they also lost Xavier Worthy, who on like the fourth play of the first game, he, Travis Kelce took him out basically, shoulder injury, and he's not been playing. So he effectively missed the first two games. And then you've got Travis Kelce, who his contribution so far is like, I took out Xavier Worthy, and I had a touchdown pass against the Eagles in my hand, and I bobbled it, and it was intercepted. And we didn't score the 7 points. We lost the game by, I believe, less than 7 points. And also, I wore shorts and a suit with shorts to the game. Did you see that, by the way?
I did not. I did
the threads that he wore to the game. He looked like some kid out of the 20s, the way like some 7-year-old out of the 1920s. He was wearing a suit.
That's a hell of a description. I got to see it now. I'll tell you that.
They were shorts, and on top of that, they were tight shorts. It's like Taylor Swift was on drugs and dressed them that morning. I don't understand what has happened to the guy that used to be the toughest matchup problem in the NFL. He's lost his freaking mind. So those are issues, but some of those issues I assume will get resolved. Rashee Rice will come back. Xavier Worthy will come back. Maybe Travis Kelce's better judgment will come back. I don't know about that one. And, they're going to be fine. I still think that they're going to make the playoffs. They did play a couple of really good teams, both of those undefeated.
Armando, let me take you back to about 8 days ago. Chicago Bears take a pick six to the house on J.J. McCarthy. They go up 17-6 in the third quarter on the Minnesota Vikings. But now we're 0-2, and we just got our asses handed to us in Detroit. You've seen 2 weeks of the Ben Johnson administration here in Chicago. I'm not saying that I was expecting miracles, but if you'd said to me before the year started, you're going to be 0-2 and you're going to get beat by over 30 on the road in Detroit in the second game, that's probably not what any of us in this town were signing on for. What are your thoughts on the Bears start and what you're seeing from Caleb Williams, particularly since he's been such a topic of conversation since he entered the league?
Yeah, the thing that I always replay in my mind when I see stuff like that is the Dallas Cowboys of the Jimmy Johnson era. That first year where he comes from the University of Miami and he had won a national championship and he had basically turned that program into a professional football team playing college ball. And then he goes to Dallas, and I think they were 1-15 their first year. And Troy Aikman looked like crap, and Michael Irvin looked like crap, and everybody looked like crap. And then all of a sudden, they were winning 3 Super Bowls. And I'm not saying the Chicago Bears are winning 3 Super Bowls, but they are looking like crap. And it's not, it's not a permanent situation, I don't believe. I do believe that if they continue to add talent, if they continue to improve and actually do stuff that Ben Johnson is asking them to do, which they're not doing a whole lot of, they will start, turning the thing around. It may not happen this week. It may not happen this year, but I believe it will happen.
Armando, let's turn to the Dolphins with my last question for you here today. And you being a Dolphins fan, I don't want to mess your day up, Armando, but Mike McDaniel how much rope does he have left in Miami? Because, man, it is not looking good. I thought that this guy was a weird kind of genius. And I don't know, maybe he is, Armando. But this is not the direction that I thought that Mike McDaniel was going to be taking the Miami Dolphins, even a couple of short years ago. And here we are. How bad is it in Miami? And is Mike McDaniel going to get some more runway, or is he in jeopardy at this point?
Well, so the answer about more runway is Stephen Ross, who is the owner of the team, is not exactly a football genius. He has been the owner of the team since 2009. And since that time, the team has not won a playoff game. In fact, they haven't won a playoff game since December 30th, 2020. Have the longest playoff drought in the NFL currently. And Stephen Ross has continually done things that just baffle, including, he's got a general manager in Chris Greer, who he hired in 2016. The Dolphins are 73-76 under Chris Greer, again, including the playoffs, with no playoff victories. And yet Stephen Ross continually endorses and empowers the general manager who is under 500 for 10 years. So given those rules, you figure Mike McDaniel is going to get a chance to finish this season out unless the team completely collapses and, soils itself. They're going to Buffalo on Thursday. There's an opportunity to soil yourself, Miami Dolphins, but there's also an opportunity to rise up and, shake things up a little bit and surprise everyone. I will say this. I like Mike McDaniel as I would say as an offensive mind, as maybe an offensive coordinator. I don't like him in the leadership role of the coach that much, because I don't believe he embodies that sort of leadership amongst the players. It's fine when things are going good, when things are not going good. Look, they already had a players-only meeting after the first game. If players are having a players-only meeting about accountability after one game, what does that say about the coach and the coaching staff? What? You're basically on the verge of losing a locker room if they're turning away from you and turning to each other for leadership. So I'm not too thrilled about that situation for the Dolphins. You said I'm a Dolphin fan. I covered the team for 30 years. A resident of Miami, I want the local teams to do well, but it looks horrible for the Dolphins right now. And unlike the Chiefs, they don't have great players coming on board in the next few weeks. They are what they are, and they have what they have. There's no Dan Marino coming over the hill. There's no Jalen Ramsey's in Pittsburgh. They're in trouble.
Armando, one more. I lied to you. I'm going to get one more quick question in. Which team has improved its stock in your eyes the most from where we were, on the precipice of kickoff this year through the first two games?
Wow. So I don't know. If you had asked me that last week, I would have told you the Steelers, and then they lost. This is such a week-to-week league, Ricky, that it's just hard. Even the Jets, which I watched against the Steelers, looked, like they were disciplined, like they were going to play hard, and then they just did the opposite of all of that this last week against the Bills. I don't know, man. I just love the Green Bay Packers and what they've got going on right now. But I picked the Green Bay Packers to win that division anyway. When you have the best pass rusher in the NFL, or arguably the best, and your offense is good, your coaching staff is good, the rest of the defense is good. I'm trying to find something that's not good because that's what would, possibly trip that team up. And this is what's not good for them right now. The weather. Wait until they hit their weather. Wait until they get to their time of year and people come to Lambeau not wanting to be there, but they're wanting to be there. They're going to get better, and that's dangerous.
I can't wait for the Jerry Jones interview after the season when the Packers take the Lombardi. Armando, wouldn't that be a lot of fun to listen to that?
Jerry
Micah
Jones
Parsons hoisting the Lombardi. How did you get here? Well, let me tell you.
Jerry Jones, who traded Micah Parsons, said we're better, and then had to heal the massive hemorrhage that he created with the trade by signing Jadeveon Clowney. Got it, Jerry. Thank you.
Armando, it is always a pleasure, my friend. We appreciate you making time for us.
All right, Rick. Stop calling me Armando. You should call me Alex.
He is the great Armando. Don't call me Alex Salguero. One of the finest covering the National Football League. And Ronnie, I've saved a question for you, and I know you probably love that. I know there's nothing you like better than me just peppering you with a question that you didn't know was coming. But one thing that I was going to ask Armando, and I eventually just had to tear myself away from that interview because I could have kept going, is Cam Ward. Ron, you being there in Nashville, I know you're not a Titans fan, but you probably are taking the temperature of the city of Nashville better than anybody I know. How are people feeling about Cam Ward through 2 weeks? I know it's early. I know it's his job. I know there's no controversy. But do people seem to be satisfied, or, are people grumbling that he's not apparently going to be Jaden Daniels this year?
I mean, there's definitely hope. Cam definitely says and he does the right things in terms of, when he's being interviewed and his work ethic and things like that. I mean, after having Will Levis as the quarterback, I think anything is an upgrade. And
hey now, Will Levis follows Super 70s, and he likes mayonnaise. So do I. So
my bad.
You can't talk bad about Will Levis. You got to throw my boy from Kentucky under the bus.
And Madison, Connecticut, Ron. That's fighting words. That's fighting words. He's a Madison guy too.
See, look, Tim and I both have skin in the Will Levis game.
I don't even know what I was saying now.
All right, hopeful. Ron. Well, thank you for that.
Hopeful.
Thank you for that, Ron.
Yeah,
all right, hopeful is what's happening in Nashville.
Yeah, hopeful.
Poor people in Nashville have been so beaten down by the Titans that it's going to take a lot to bum them out, probably. They look at Cam Ward, and I think Cam Ward's going to be a good player. I just think it's unrealistic to ask people to come out and have a C.J. Stroud or Jaden Daniels rookie year. It just
very rare.
Generally doesn't happen. Ron, let's bounce back to talk shows here for a second, and I'm going to give you another one of my favorites. Depending upon the time period in which you were watching it, it was once the $10,000 pyramid. Later, it became the $25,000 pyramid. But I was always a fan of Dick Clark and that show. And I always liked the bonus round. And there you can see, sadly, after only a couple of correct answers, they fizzled out on things at a discotheque. And I was trying to help out. I was thinking, what would I be saying if I was giving the clues to somebody? Cocaine, consequence-free sex, Tim McHugh. I don't know. Anyway, so there you go. There it is. It's
I loved me some pyramid.
The $25,000 pyramid.
That's before people had Tourette's. It was definitely sort of a rapid fire kind of thing.
Before they had
That's
Tourette's.
True. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think Tourette's
all of us are wired to do well in that segment now. Our attention span only lasts about long enough to sit down and play that game.
Ricky, I'm so
But
glad you said
some
that.
people were really bad, though. Yeah.
Oh, they were
Go ahead, Tim.
terrible. Yeah. I didn't realize the progression of 25 because I said to Jared,
Called
I
inflation, Tim.
thought it was the $100,000 pyramid. So I didn't realize that. So Ron, we fact checked you and you are correct. So, but you like the earlier version, which I'll have to give you that. Dick Clark for sure.
All right, here's one for you guys. Wink Martindale, say no more to many people out there. Tic-tac-toe. Can you imagine? Like who pitched that? All right, here's what we're going to do. It's going to be tic-tac-toe, except for we're just going to alter it slightly, and we'll put a fucking dragon in there. And that got on TV for a period of years. But this tweet is really more about Wink Martindale's record. Wink Martindale reads the Gettysburg Address. I believe that's what the Beatles knocked out of #1 when they came to America, guys. You know how to have a party? There's the party starter right there. Invite you over, get you drunk, throw on Wink Martindale, talking about.
I've been lying the whole time, Ricky, because I was embarrassed, but it's time to come clean. I lost my virginity to that. It wasn't When Doves Cry.
When Doves Cry was just the socially acceptable story that you came up with. Yeah.
Yep.
What will people respect? What will other guys think is cool?
Yep.
Man, that must have been hard to stay hard, Ron, during that one. Was it just you're like the diver who chooses the impossible dive. You're like, you know what? My first time out of the gate, I'm going to see if I can keep it up through talk about a terribly divided country and dead soldiers. You sick fuck, you. God, I don't even know how to segue out of this. Big money, no whammies.
Stop.
Is what Ron said. There we go.
They had a laugh, right?
Luck.
Didn't you have a laugh?
He did. The little whammy, the whammy guys, they would come out and they would do funny little things.
They were like
after
gremlins,
they ruined
right?
somebody's day. Yeah. They're like Peter Tamarkin, the host of Pressure Luck.
That should be a t-shirt, Ricky.
My girlfriend once prank phone called him years ago.
Big money, no whammy, stop.
Did they bring it back? Did they do another version of it later?
Yeah, I think they did. I think they did.
Yeah, but you can't recapture that kind of magic. And as you've said before, Ron, on the show, they made a documentary about this one guy who just figured out what the light pattern was.
Yep.
And went in there and just cleaned them out. And he wasn't even cheating. He was just using freely available information. He just outsmarted them.
Yep.
Entirely ethically. All right. So we've done a lot of game show discussion today here on the show. And well, doesn't it only make sense that today's Gimme 5 would be game shows? So gimme 5 game shows, fellas. And we've talked about this over and over again. I'm still not entirely sure how we're approaching it. Did we all vote? Is this just my list? Or are we just name checking our favorites?
I gave a list.
Tim, get in here. I don't know what the fucking rules are here.
Any list starts and begins with The Price is Right. Mic drop, #1, based on all
that
polling
song,
that Jared did here. Oh man, I wanted to play it at my wedding. My wife was like, "No fucking way."
That was a victory song when you had just seen Diane in a bikini.
It totally was.
You know? Yeah, that was a triumphant victory song. If there was
I couldn't even get her to let me play it. I wanted to play it at the cocktail hour, and she was like, "No way." So I'm going to do that at my next milestone birthday. I'm definitely playing The Price is Right.
Well, listen, if you ever have a party for cats, I think it would be good to play at that, Tim.
Good one. What do we think #2 was? I think it was all on our list.
Match game?
That's three. That's three.
Family Feud probably finishes
Two.
second.
Two. Yep. So Price is Right.
Okay.
Family Feud match
that
game
must have been high
3.
on yours because it wasn't on my list. So that must have been. I think I zoned out because I probably should have picked that.
Match game. Do you remember the match game theme, Tim?
Give me a bar or two. Oh, that was the disco one, wasn't it?
Well, no, I can hear it in my mind, but I think if I attempt to do it, like I won't even be able to come close.
Pretend like you're Junior Seau and I'm Armando.
Womp, 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 womp. Alex. Lean back,
right.
Alex.
Right.
It was just sort of a little like womp, 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 womp. I think that was the one, right? And the guy would talk through it on tonight's episode of Match Game 74. Then Gene Rayburn would come out with a microphone that had the circumference of Ronnie's micro penis, but much more length. And off we would go. Stupid Stella was so stupid. How stupid was she? And then he would go on and finish it. She mistook her titties for blank. And then we were just off to the races.
Keep going. It was a little quicker. Yeah.
It was a little quicker.
So yeah. You're emphasizing the trumpet there or the trombone, but it definitely had a little catchier theme as I listened to it here.
But I'm surprised that I did it well enough that it even gave you a place to latch on, Tim.
Yes, sir.
I'll consider that to be a win.
So what rounds out?
4 and 5.
Yeah, we have a tie.
I don't know what we're going to have here.
We officially have a tie
for fourth.
Yes.
Okay. Well, all right.
We've talked about one. We've talked about one of them, $25,000 pyramid. But have we shown nearly enough love to Jeopardy so far?
No.
No,
I don't think we have.
I went through my Jeopardy tweets. Jeopardy.
Our first contestant from Horse Cave, Kentucky.
Yeah. He's a homeless man from Horse Cave, Kentucky.
Ricky, it says here you were undateable in high school. Is that true?
High school?
Hey, fuck you now. I'll spill every detail on the cat party now, motherfucker. There's going to be no holds barred here in a minute. I went through my Jeopardy tweets and I had some stuff about Alex Trebek. But I don't know. I couldn't find one that I thought was like super funny. But the thing about Jeopardy is like the contestants, it's a great show, but the contestants can be really annoying. You know what I'm talking about? It's just like a bunch of fucking nerds who took off their COVID mask just to walk out onto the stage.
Yeah. No, they're not a lot of them you want to have a drink with.
I don't know.
And then there's the ones who always just
a lot of fucking nerds
who are just really struggling with the.
What are you doing, Tim? Jeffrey Toobin?
They're the ones who struggle with their controller, Ron. As I was saying, they were struggling with their thumb on their
Toobin incident here.
What
are we doing?
Thumb on their controller. I'm not feeling Ken, by the way. I don't watch the show. I don't like Ken as the host at all. No offense. I understand he's the all-time winner or whatever, but not feeling it. And then what's his name too?
Wasn't Blossom the previous host?
Blossom. Aaron Rodgers did it for a little bit, didn't he? Yeah, Malik, whatever her name is. Malik something. Yeah. Malik.
Malik Neighbors, the host of Jeopardy.
So there are your five, Ricky. Prince, Family Feud, Match Game, 25,000 Pyramid, and Jeopardy.
Does anybody have an honorable mention that they would like to add to the mix?
Joker's Wild was my number one. I love Joker's Wild.
Who was the host of that? Was it Jim Barry? Was that his name? The host of it was something Barry. I can see him in my mind's eye. I always wanted to crank that big thing that they had. Ron.
That's what she said.
the thing always looked like it would be a lot of fun as far as I was concerned. I will. My honorable mention today is To Tell the Truth. Do you guys remember that? They'd have 3 people and 2 of them were just fucking lying, and they would have to try to decide who the real person was.
I loved Let's Make a Deal when I was
cool.
little. When I was younger, like probably, I don't know, 5 to 10, it was so amusing for a little kid. To have a donkey show up behind one of the curtains, wow. When you're 8, that's about the funniest thing ever.
And the concept was so simple, Ron. I'll give you that, right? Like it was just
and everybody dressed up in the audience, which was kind of, again, this is 8-year-old Ron.
So I'll give you one more. Wheel of Fortune.
I'm going to tell you something weird. I don't know if I ever mentioned this on the show or not. It would be weird if I mentioned it on the show, but I don't know. Maybe I did. Maybe, Ron, I think I've told you this, but I may not.
Something about you and Vanna White?
My greatest Wheel of Fortune moment ever, I saw Cheyenne, Wyoming before a single letter was up there.
You just had a
premonition? I had a moment of I had a premonition, apparently. It was it said place.
Yeah.
And it came up, and I just said Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Charlie Babbitt.
We're going to Cheyenne, Wyoming now. Yeah.
Charlie Babbitt.
Then my mom drove me to Las Vegas, where I counted cards for the next 14 hours.
That's pretty impressive, Ricky. Cheyenne, Wyoming. How many letters did you know right off the bat?
It's fucking luck. It's fucking luck is what it is. You know,
it could have been Laramie.
I don't know. It could have been Laramie as well. I don't know. So, are we taking this to a break, or are we just going to ride this fucking runaway train?
Let's keep going, man. Screw the break.
Let's keep going. Let's go to poll replies. Shall we see what folks are saying about the beating that is happening today? We've had 2 beatdowns this week so far. I'm going to have to try to tighten it up a little bit tomorrow and give the public a competitive matchup. But I can see who those tweets are from, and God bless both of them. They're great Americans. But, Ron, I got no chance of reading it, so I'm going to turn it over to you.
So Rex Crum, he says, I know it'll get boat race today, but I had to go with Australia, my favorite non-USA country. Plus, my wife surprised me with a birthday trip there before we were even married.
Crumb.
And then the Moops says legend, and I think that's Cliff Clavin. Am I right, Tim? Ricky? Johnny Carson with Cliff Clavin?
Cliffy. Yeah. The mailman.
Yeah, there you are. Cliff Clavin, of course, had a close call on Jeopardy himself. Lost everything in Final Jeopardy, unfortunately.
Kellen Dangler says Detroit basketball.
I'm Facebook friends with James Edwards. So shout out to James Edwards. And I like John Sally,
what
too.
A mic drop right there.
Yeah. Well, sorry. I hate to have to play the alpha card, but I guess I just did.
Joey G. Bama. When turkeys mate, they think of swans. Johnny Carson. Oh, I see. I get it. I get it.
I see what he did. I see what he did
there.
Yeah, blowout, man. Blowout. What the fuck, Ricky? What the fuck, Ricky?
That's like when you fuck a 4 and pretend she's a 9, Ron. I know you know what I'm talking about. Probably the night that you were hanging out with Al Jarreau. Well, folks.
Ronnie. She wasn't
Ronnie. Ronnie, I don't know. I don't know what we're doing here, but
maybe a hard 2.
There's only one. Well, a hard 2 is what you were giving them. I'll tell you that. That's for sure. Ron, here's the thing that I would say to you, my friend. There is only one path to the exit today, and it runs through you. So I'm going to do what I have to do to get us there and ask
Take us home.
What the fuck, Ron?
All right. So, wolves are an important part of our ecosystem, Ricky. I mean, that is well documented. And
they're out there doing a lot of good for our ecosystem.
But they also they also tend to like to do some other things, which is eating people's cattle. And so biologists in the California Oregon border, they are testing playing over loudspeakers, really, really loud, like clips from movies or people yelling. But the last one is kind of why I flagged this one, and I figured you'd appreciate this. They are playing Thunderstruck by AC/DC, trying to scare the wolves away from the cattle. Now, I will say they have no conclusion on whether this is going to work or not, but I just want you to imagine that somewhere in probably rural, desolate California, Oregon, Thunderstruck is just being blared in the night.
And there's some wolf down there that's like, oh, great, I prefer Bon Scott. Oh, great, they're going to play this shit. It's like, okay. I mean, whatever. Maybe there's some wolves now that are into AC/DC.
Maybe.
That didn't know it.
Maybe.
Somebody's picking up a bootleg from years ago because they really like Angus Young now.
Maybe.
They're choosing a different Angus. Leave the Angus that you're going to try to eat. Listen to Angus Young.
Look at you
See?
Putting things together.
What they're doing there?
Man.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, what else the fuck is going on, Ron?
So in Ghana, they have these things called fantasy coffins. And what they're doing is they are specially crafted coffins for people that are supposed to embody the essence of who those people were. And so they're not just plain coffins. Sometimes they're very ornate, and other times they take on like different shapes. So I don't even know what this one is. It's like a turkey with a beer, a
More
lion with
turkeys.
a beer in it. I don't even know.
Yeah.
So it got me to thinking, is if you could decide what your unique Ghanan fantasy coffin would be to embody the essence of you, what would it be?
Just a gigantic corn cob, I think. Don't you think, Ron? Just a big, huge ear of corn, and you just pull it open, put me in there, shut it, put me in the ground. There goes corn cob. It's all over now.
I was thinking something maybe
I don't know.
Like Expos or Oilers themed, like a I don't know. I just felt like it'd be something super 70s-ish is kind of what I was thinking for you.
I mean, I'd be okay with that. If we could get me like a big white coffin and put Bucko Bruce on each side and those stripes down the middle of it, maybe.
Oh, so maybe a helmet,
see myself,
like the Bucks helmet.
Maybe a helmet.
There you go.
Maybe bury me in the classic Buccaneers helmet.
I was thinking maybe a figurine. Like you'd be buried in a figurine.
I don't know why.
Nolan Ryan or Nolan Ryan. Or,
I don't understand. I don't play with figurines. I have some action figures.
Dolls, my bad.
And bobbleheads.
Dolls.
All right, figurines. Figurines it is, Ron. You've made it very clear that this is a binary decision for me. I'm either doll guy or figurine guy, and since I'm a heterosexual, I guess I'm stuck as figurine guy. Although I'm barely hanging on to my heterosexuality every time that you say that. What's a figurine? That's a knick-knack. That's like something like a little old 85-year-old grandma would have. Here's my figurine.
You mean like when you were doing that baseball card reveal a couple weeks ago and you had all your little wrestling figurines? Those were figurines.
All right, Ronnie. Fuck you, Ron. I've enjoyed most of your contributions to today's show. My thanks as well to Alex Salguero, Sky Point to Junior Seau as well. My thanks to Colin and Molly in Nashville. My thanks to P.A. Jared, who's always doing a hell of a job on this show. And of course, my thanks as well to producer Tim. He is the best in the business. But most of all, I thank you, you sweet bastards, because you're the reason I'm here. You're the reason that we do this, and I love you guys. You can find us, as always, at Fox Nation, outkick.com, and on YouTube now at the Ricky Cobb Show channel. That's right, the Ricky Cobb Show. Look it up, subscribe. You'll get everything conveniently in one place right there on YouTube. You can also listen to us in podcast form if you're so inclined on Apple and Spotify. And our content is also readily available for you every day on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, as well as X, where you'll find me because I'm the Super 70 sports guy. Let's make a deal, folks, shall we, that we'll meet back here again tomorrow and we'll tee it high and let it fly with another episode of The Ricky Cobb Show.